fade me in. How you doing? Hey, good to see you. It's good of you to see me anyway. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, the FBTV Podcast. Yes, we've been in audio form. Yes, we've done it in the past, video, and we're back. If you are listening to this podcast, that's fantastic. You can still do so, but you can see the podcast on YouTube. If you want to check us out, feel free to do so. Find us on youtube.com/FreightBrokerTV. My name is Mike. I'm your host. I am also the lead consultant for Taltoa. You'll find Taltoa at TALTOA.com. Taltoa, we are a transportation and logistics training and consulting firm. Our focus, our specialty, it is with freight brokering, be it freight brokers, getting your own authority, freight broker established, trying to build your company up more. Maybe you're a freight broker agent or you're wanting to get into the business. That's great. Maybe you're a trucking company trying to figure out how to get your own loads. We can help you. Also a trucking company too. You will also learn not only how to get your own loads, but add an extra stream of revenue. And everybody can always use an extra stream of revenue. Anyway, check us out. Taltoa.com, TALTOA.com. And if you're starting out as an agent, okay, that's fine. That's fine. We work with new people all the time. And we always recommend start out as an agent because that way it allows you to learn the business, gain experience, build a customer base before stepping out. All right, this is Easter week. Good Friday coming up this Friday, Easter Sunday. Big plans, cooking that ham. Isn't ham the Easter food? I like ham. But probably not this year. Just because I am on a quest to drop some weight. Who isn't anymore? You know, you hit that age. With me, it was around early 40s. The metabolism started slowing down. But I've also found, too, when I get active again, that metabolism kicks right in. So, who knows? Just got to be careful. But with the warm weather, going to be on the bike. And I'm not talking about a bicycle. I'm talking about my hog, man, my moped. No, it's a Harley. It's a Street Glide special. Anyway, neither here nor there. Got the boat. We go fishing a lot, camping. Tell you what, that hauling that boat around, even that motorcycle is a pretty good workout depending on the day. But anyway, neither here nor there. That camper is too. If you got a camper, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But Easter Sunday coming up. Don't forget that. You should go to church this Sunday if you get a chance. FreightBrokerTV.com. That's our website. If you got questions, you got comments, feel free to email me, FBTV@FreightBrokerTV.com. And if you go to our website, you're going to find our contact forms all over the website, FreightBrokerTV.com. Today is, well, it's April 4th, but today is 404 Day. That's ever get that 404 error? You go to a website, no website, 404. That's what that's pertaining to. It's Carrot Day, Cordon Bleu Day, Tell a Lie Day. I thought that was April 4th, Tell a Lie Day, or April 1st, rather, Tell a Lie Day. But and it's also Sweet Potato Day. Who don't like a good sweet potato? Love those sweet potato fries, man. Go up to Oklahoma Joe's. Yeah, they're getting a free plug up in Tulsa. Go up to the Bass Pro Shop, and right next door to the Bass Pro Shop is Oklahoma Joe's. Good food, buddy, good food. All right, today's impossible question. If this is your first time tuning in, we do an impossible question every podcast, and I try to remember to answer it before we end the podcast. Sometimes I do, sometimes not so much. But those days that I don't answer it, I try to answer it the next week. Okay, there are millions of varieties, and it took less than 2 decades. Available to nearly anyone, anywhere, bringing in about $1 billion this year alone. What is it? There are millions of varieties, and it took less than 2 decades. Available to nearly anyone, anywhere, bringing in about $1 billion this year alone. What is it? FBTV Podcast mug, we got them for you. Visit our website, freightbrokertv.com. Check it out. Order from our website. Takes about, a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that to get to you. Take the podcast with you wherever you go. Hey, this is your birthday. Happy birthday to you. You're in pretty good company. Charles Funk. Okay, may not mean anything to you. He was born on this date back in 1881, but this will. Funk and Wagnall's Encyclopedia. Remember those? Arthur Murray, the dance instructor, born this date back in 1895. David White. That name may not ring a bell to you. But if you ever watched Bewitched, Darren's boss, Larry Tate, that's David White. Coach, Craig T. Nelson, 79 today. Steve Gatlin of the Gatlin Brothers, 72. Robert Downey Jr. He was in Chaplin, U.S. Marshals, Iron Man. He's 58 today. Today in history, Congress decides that the U.S. flag would consist of 13 red and white stripes and 20 stars, one new star, to be added for each new state of the Union. That was decided by Congress back in 1818, 204 years ago today. No, 205. This date back in 1850, Los Angeles, California, incorporated as a city. 27 years later, the first private telephone is placed in a home in Boston, Mass. I didn't know this, but in 1967, Johnny Carson quit The Tonight Show. For 3 weeks, he quit. Took $30,000 raise to get him back. And we know the rest of the story. And today's a sad day for science fiction fans all over the world. Today is the day, back in 1969, that Star Trek was canceled. Now you know. Strange Law Department, Myrtle Creek, Oregon. They have a law on the books stating that you cannot get into a boxing match with a kangaroo. No kidding. Myrtle Creek, Oregon. There is a law. You cannot get into a boxing match with a kangaroo. I'd like to know the history behind that law. I'm sure there's an interesting story, don't you? You really have to wonder how something like that comes about. But it did. It is. All right, let's talk fuel prices. Fuel and spot rate update for the week of April 3rd, 2023. Diesel down 2 cents from last week, down to $4.11. Don't expect that to last too long. Gasoline's up 8 cents from last week, up to $3.50 a gallon. I saw somewhere, there is it. I think I got it in here. Yeah, Saudi Arabia has announced production cuts that should send oil prices heading back up again pretty quick. So be on the lookout for that. We talked, well, talk about this tomorrow in the morning coffee with Altoa. We did every Monday through Friday morning, 6 a.m. podcast, as well as on YouTube. But if the current administration would ease up on domestic oil production, who cares what Saudi Arabia does? Just like that balloon that flew over. Yeah, it's not doing nothing. It's a balloon. Come to find out. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. All right, diesel down 2 cents from last week. Gasoline up to $3.50, up 8 cents from last week. Spot rates from last week. Van down 0.9%. Flatbed up 0.6%. Refrigerated down 1.8%. Spot rates from last month. Van rates are up 2 cents per mile, up to $2.20 per mile. Flatbed up 10 cents per mile, up to $2.82. Refrigerated down 4 cents a mile, down to $2.47. Fuel surcharges, flatbed $58, dry van $48, reefer $52. Average, if you average them all out, 53 cents per mile. So there you go. Fuel and spot rate updates for the week of April 3rd. We've got a morning coffee coming up before too long. I'm going to be talking about issues, contract issues. And I'm talking about contracts with brokers and broker agents and sales agents. Specifically, let's talk about sales agents for a moment. I had a client here the other day. They sent me a contract they wanted me to look over for them. The contract pertained to them becoming a sales agent for an existing brokerage. And my recommendation to my client was to run as fast as you can, because everything in that contract was bad. I mean, just seriously bad. It's like the brokerage had no clue what to even put in the contract, so they just threw stuff in there hoping that somebody say yeah. Now, what am I talking about? Okay, as a sales agent, if you're working for a broker, all right, as a sales agent, you're going to generally make a commission on the load if you're independent. And there are those, and a lot of people make good money doing it. Sales agent, what you're doing is acquiring customers for the brokerage. And as the brokerage moves a load for that customer, the sales agent makes a commission off the profit of the load, just like a broker agent. Sales agent is just like a broker agent, except they're not out there actually brokering the load looking for a truck. They're just getting the customers, getting loads, or getting the customers for the broker, and then the broker's taking the loads and trying to find trucks. That's what you need to be on the lookout for. But this thing, I wish I would have printed it out. There was stuff in there like no compete clauses, just all kinds of terrible things in that contract. But if you've been approached or you're thinking about becoming a true sales agent, yeah, your commission should be anywhere from 20 to 25% if you're independent. If you are on their company payroll, an employee, obviously you're going to get a salary. Plus, you should also plan on getting a commission too. That's a sales agent, not a broker agent. If you're a broker agent, it's going to be commission based. I have a lot of people call me. They want to know about salaries and things like that. No, any good salesman worth their weight and at all, they do not want a salary. Oh, you can give me a base salary, but they're more interested in the commission because they know that's where the money's going to be. There are broker agents out there making 6-digit incomes. It doesn't happen overnight, but they build it up to that level. We had somebody call me, I don't know, it's been a few months ago. And this lady worked for a broker agent as an assistant for that broker agent. She had seen what kind of money that broker agent was pulling in. And she thought, no, I want to be on that side of the fence. And because this guy, he was, she said if he was pulling down $1,500 a day in net, that was a bad day. He was not happy. So, keep that in mind. It takes time to build up to that level. It doesn't happen overnight. But, as a consultant with Taltoa, we look at these contracts all the time. We're not giving legal advice, but we know what we're looking for. And we always recommend our clients, we'll spot it, and we'll always recommend, okay, talk to your attorney, check and double check, or even take it up to the broker or, that you're considering contracting with, because a lot of times they don't even know this kind of stuff is in their contract and they want to get it straightened out. They don't want that in there. But anyway, neither here nor there. All right, news. Police in Ohio can pull drivers over just for holding a phone. That's going to be starting next Tuesday. This week, starting today, rather. It's starting today. This week, new distracted driving laws go into effect in Ohio that allow police to pull drivers over for holding a phone in their hand or on their lap. I'd be interested to know how they're going to see that, if there's somebody holding a phone in their lap. I don't disagree with the law. I tell you one thing that really kind of chaps my hide is see somebody in a big truck, driver in a big truck, holding that phone, up to their ear, trying to shift gears and make turns. And come on, give me a break. That's a good way to cause an accident or be in one. But anyway, starting today, a new law will go into effect, making distracted driving a primary offense in Ohio. This means that law enforcement may pull drivers over solely for a distracted driving offense. Under the new law, it's illegal to hold a cell phone in your lap, hand, or using other parts of the body while driving on Ohio roads. If a police officer spots you, they are allowed to stop you. For the next 6 months, law enforcement will provide warnings to drivers who violate the new distracted driving law. But starting October 5th to be exact, citations going to be issued. Here are some of the penalties for these violations of Ohio's new law. First offense in 2 years, 2 point assessed to the driver's license up to $150 fine. Second offense in 2 years, 3 points, $250 fine. Third offense in 2 years, 4 points, $500 fine. Possible 90-day suspension of your license. Fines doubled in a work zone. Now, exceptions to the new law include drivers reporting an emergency to law enforcement, a hospital, health care provider, fire department, or similar emergency entity. Drivers holding a cell phone to their ear only during phone conversations if the phone call is started or stopped with a single touch or swipe. What? Drivers holding a phone to their ear only during phone conversations if the call is started or stopped with a single swipe. Makes no sense to me. Let's read that one more time because that drivers holding a phone to their ear only during phone conversations if the call is started or stopped. That makes no sense no matter how many times I read it. Drivers holding or using cell phones and other electronic devices while stopped at a traffic light or parked on a road or highway during an emergency or road closure. All right. First responders, law enforcement, fire, EMS, using electronic devices as part of their official duties. Utility workers operating utility vehicles in certain emergency or outage situations. Licensed operators using an amateur radio. Commercial truck drivers using a mobile data terminal, okay, for your ELDs, obviously. I don't know, some of these exceptions don't make a lot of sense, but anyway, is what it is. The law does allow drivers who are 18 or older to make or receive calls using hands-free technology, such as Bluetooth or whatever. But the law says if you must physically touch the device to use it, you should pull off the road. I wonder about eating and coffee drinking and things like that. Is that going to be part of that law too? I don't know. All right, things you may want to know. The final Indiana Jones movie, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. The Dial of Destiny. It's going to make its world debut May 18th at the Cannes Film Festival. Yeah, we were talking about that Chinese spy balloon that got ignored, floated over the U.S. earlier this year. It was able to capture imagery and collect some intelligence from U.S. military sites. It wasn't just a flyover. Can't shoot it down. We waited till it crossed the whole country. 2 members of Congress have reintroduced a bill to prevent TV commercials from playing at a louder volume than the surrounding programming. I thought that was already a law. Maybe not. So a new study says that plants are not silent. Been wondering what's keeping you up at night? It's your plants. They actually make clicking sounds. They make clicking sounds when thirsty or under other kinds of stress. I'm thinking whoever did that study, they might want to look for a cricket. Anyway, former Arkansas Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson, he has officially announced he is running for president. After months of declining home prices, the prices started going back up again. Now get this, if you fish, you're going to enjoy this. A fisherman off the coast of Texas locked into a monster, and after 2 hours of fighting the fish, and after snapping the fishing rod, he finally landed, get this, 676-pound bluefin tuna. Took 16 anglers on the boat, taking turns to get that fish in. Can you believe that? That's a trip. All right, what else we got going on? Oh, did you know, department? Women say that the radio being too loud is the biggest pet peeve about their partner's driving. You a team driver? Female? Radio up too loud? Let's see, 39% have no idea how to iron a shirt properly. I'm surprised it's not more because I iron shirts and I did not know there was a proper way to do it. You iron it to get the wrinkles out. You get the sleeves too, get them nice. But anyway. Okay, according to Match.com, when women were asked why they broke up with their last boyfriend, 37% of the women said he was boring. Now, when asked why they broke up with their last girlfriend, 40% of men said too much baggage. Might be because, might be why the guy was boring. The woman had too much baggage, you reckon? Pretty close, 37 and 40% anyway. Well, somebody did the research. I'm sure it was Cracker Jacks. Sales go up nearly 60% during the summer months. I'm thinking baseball has a lot to do with that. And according to the U.S. government, the White House gets a new American flag every single day. That's true. You can go on the, I forget where it is. There's a website where you can get one of those flags that flew on the somewhere in Washington, D.C. I forget where, but you can buy one. And if you got a family, friend, member that, totally patriotic, man, there's not a better gift you can get somebody than a flag that flew in Washington, D.C. I gave one to a friend of mine one time, and oh my gosh. I mean, you would have thought he gave $1 million. Truck driver's opinions wanted on legalized marijuana. Should we even talk about this? Let's see. This past Monday, the nonprofit research group American Transportation Research Institute, ATRI, launched a survey for truck drivers to gain insight on how legalized marijuana is impacting the trucking industry. The ATRI online survey launched on April 3rd, seeking a driver perspective on state laws legalizing marijuana use and how these laws impact highway safety and the trucking industry at large. Yeah, the survey was initially deployed in person at the Mid-American Trucking Show in Louisville, Kentucky, where it received more than 300 driver responses. The ATRI says that this topic was identified as critical because of the conflict and uncertainty between new state laws legalizing marijuana and long-standing federal law, especially for those that are part of a federally regulated workforce. The ATRI is accepting survey responses through April 28th. If you'd like to look at the survey, maybe take it, go to www.research.net/r/r marijuana-impacts-driver. Research.net will get you there, I'm sure. You'll find it once you get there. Research.net. Personally, I don't think it's a good idea. Just like I don't think autonomous trucks is a good idea. But my opinion, everybody's got one. Well, I like this. State bill aims to eliminate participation trophies in youth sports. I don't know why it started in the first place. Snowflakes? Maybe, probably. 3 North Carolina senators have introduced a bill that would eliminate participation trophies awarded to kids who play recreational sports through leagues operated by local governments. The bill adds that awards provided in connection with the activity, if any, shall be based on identified performance achievements. That makes total sense, the way it should be. Just because you participated don't mean you get a trophy. You got to win. I'm not a big fan of not keeping score either. I don't care how young the kid is. Keep score. Winners and losers. That's how you learn to win. I've been on my share of losing teams when I was a kid growing up. And that loss, yes, it hurts. But you lose and you work harder to win. You work harder as a team. It teaches you how to win. And that's life. All right. I know I've talked about this before. Over in the UK, Cow's methane gas production really ticking a lot of people off over there. Well, apparently the UK is going to be giving food additives to stop cows from flatulating. From passing gas. Gaseous cattle are blamed for fueling emissions by belching and breaking wind. But a solution could be at hand as the UK desperately tries to hit net zero. Really? Cows' flatulence and breathing is... Give me a break. Anyway, flatulating cows would be given methane suppressants to stop them from breaking wind and fueling global warming. Holy smoke. Dairy cattle are set to be given compound feeds containing additives to cut digestive gas. Ministers intend to force farmers to give their livestock the feed because of the amount of methane cows release into the air when they belch or pass gas. Farm animals are blamed for about 14% of global carbon emissions created by human activity. They're everywhere. That's all I can say. All right. DAT's on the news. DAT's Guide to Working Broker Relationships for Better Rates. This is from Overdrive Magazine, their website. We picked this up with the freight market bottoming out and rates for many brokers on popular load boards like DAT looking increasingly unpleasant to owner-operators. It's never been more important to work relationships with brokers, impress upon them your reliable service, and ultimately secure better rates. That was the topic of the DAT seminar at Mid-American Trucking Show on Friday, this past Friday, I suppose, where DAT product manager Robert Roos and Echo Global Logistics Vice President of Operations Jeff Starr offered tips on how to best use the load board to develop long-term, profitable broker relationships. The story goes on and on and on, but all it is an advertisement for DAT1. And in my opinion, DAT is, they went from DAT Express and DAT Power to this DAT1 stuff, and for me, it's a step backwards. Just a big old step backwards. DAT for a long time, and I guess they always have been, they are truck-centered. That's a lot of the reason why brokers pay more for the load board than a trucking company does, which I have no problem with that. Not really. A trucking company has a lot of overhead. Now, 123 load board, they'll give the load board to brokers free because 123 load board, and you'll find that at 123loadboard.com. They have this idea that, hey, if you got loads, the trucks will come. Now, DAT, I'll just tell you flat out that, if you're a broker, you want DAT. You may not want to start out with it, but you definitely want DAT for the simple reason it will make your phone ring. But better rates, you want better rate, owner-operators, if you want better rates, what you've got to do is get your own customers. Use a broker for a backhaul only. If you've got your own customers, you're getting a head haul out. Then you go to the load board, find a load coming back so you can get back to your customer as quick as you can, because that's where you're making the big money. If you want to know more about how to do that, may I recommend Taltoa. That's what we do. We consult, we train. Check us out, Taltoa.com, TALTOA.com. Call me. Got any questions? 479-668-0838. All right, I think that's about going to wrap it up for today on this FBTV podcast. Don't forget Morning Coffee. It's back. You'll find it on YouTube. Also, it's standalone podcast. If you're going down the road, don't have time to watch it, you can definitely listen to it. Just do a search on your favorite podcasting app. Morning Coffee with Taltoa. Find us on YouTube as well. Same thing, Morning Coffee with Tautoa. Matter of fact, just go to our website or the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Freight Broker TV. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this Tuesday, April 4th, FBTV Podcast. We will talk to you soon. See you in the morning on Morning Coffee with Tautoa. I hope you join me. Have a good day.